welcome. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going? Pretty good.
Yeah, I've got Evan David here, the
Hello.
creator of Black Blossom.
Yes, super
And
happy to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
oh man, it's no problem, man. I'm
And
I'm I'm looking forward to drawing your character.
yeah, this sounds super fun.
Yep, we're gonna chat for a little bit. You're gonna tell me all about her. The chat is welcome to ask questions, and you'll answer them,
Okay.
or you can choose not to. You don't have to.
I'll answer what I can
Yeah,
without giving away spoilers.
there you go. I do want to remind people that if you are out there and you're shipping comic books, you can use code NERD10 at Gemini Mailers when you go to checkout to save 10% off of your order. So that is a
Nice.
super cool deal, right? So, all right. And without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pop your link to your campaign
Thank you very
into
much.
the comments there so people can take a look at that. And we're just going to go ahead and get started on this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, and this campaign is for the Kickstarter for the graphic novel, the first Black Blossom graphic novel. It has 7 issues contained within it, along with a lot of back matter and behind the scenes stuff. So that's cool.
That's cool. So what kind of behind the scenes stuff did you put in there?
I wrote some stuff, just how the character came into formation, some of my heart behind the series, and then a lot of concept art, some early sketches, things like that. And then also all the covers and variant covers are in there too.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I've got a
So,
lot of great. The covers are great, and a lot of my friends from Starcross Comics and other artists I've worked with have contributed to those. It's pretty cool.
so we both have history with Starcross.
Hmm.
They're great guys over there. Really like them. Like what's going on. So tell me, how did you end up over there? How'd
Well,
you meet Joe?
I posted some comics I was doing on my, I think it was on my Instagram, and he contacted me because it had angels in it, and Joe's a big angel fan,
Yeah.
anything with that, and he loves that stuff.
He
So he
sees those
con
wings and he goes nuts.
Yep. So he contacted me and said, "Hey, this looks cool. You want to come join Starcross?" And I was like, "Sure."
Why
And
not? Yeah.
yeah, so then I joined for a little bit, and then there was a possibility of Black Blossom getting picked up by a larger publisher, so I pursued that for a little while. But after a little bit, I came back. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna just do Starcross, and
The
be
prodigal son returns.
that's right, be fully
Did you?
fully committed in there. And
Some people don't get that reference. Um, did you ever watch The Office?
yes,
So yeah, it's when Michael Scott's trying to say the prodigal, and he
uh-huh.
can't say it right.
He can never say.
He
I
says
love
the prodigal son returns.
all the mispronunciations of his.
Yeah, he's hilarious. I love that show. So yeah, so full in now with Starcross.
Yep. I've got 3 series with them. This is one of them. This is my main series, which is the longest running. This one's, I mean, I've written up to 16 issues, and we've got 7 out, and now the graphic novel's coming too. So super excited about it. It's my first graphic novel.
So I cheated a little bit on this one. I kind of mapped out where I wanted to start drawing
Nice.
before we started, because you said you only had an hour tonight, and so I want to try to move as quickly as I can.
Well, that just means you might have time for 2 drawings. Hooray!
You think I could get 2 done in an hour?
I have no idea, man. Everybody
You,
works at their
you have a
different.
lot of faith in me.
Yeah, I mean, wishful thinking. But the pose looks awesome already. That cover you're referencing is from a great artist on Instagram called, oh, I can never pronounce her name because I don't think it makes grammatical sense. Okay, yeah, here it is. Alasxe, which is Alasxe. But she's very talented, and I had her do that cover.
Yeah, it sounds like there should be more vowels in there.
Yep, yep.
Okay, I kind of got a loose idea for a background in there, but we'll focus on that
Okay.
separately. We'll hit that if we start having time. She smiles a lot here, so tell me more about this character.
Yeah, she's got like I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of my favorite characters. Superman is my favorite character. And so when I was coming up with this character, I wanted to kind of use elements from both of those guys. So I gave her more of a Spider-Man-like personality where she's just very flippant and funny, and she's chatty and quippy through battles. But also her suit makes her super strong, and she can fly and go super fast. So that's fun stuff.
Sometimes I don't like things and I redraw them.
Okay. That's one of the things I like about Superman, is that if he really did have all those powers and abilities, there's so many logistical problems if you don't have those in your repertoire as a superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Batman, they give him a call for a crime in progress. He's got to get all the way from stately Wayne Manor in the suburbs to downtown Gotham in time to do anything about it. So Superman doesn't have that problem.
No, he does not.
Neither does the Black Blossom.
Get there in a flash. I'm gonna be really honest. There is one character that I have never cared for.
What is it?
The Flash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not really a Flash fan.
Why is that?
Well, his power is he runs fast. I don't know.
Yeah, but most of his stories involve like time travel and other dimensions and stuff, because he's running so fast that he keeps breaking the universe. And that stuff intrigues me. I like that stuff. None of that stuff in this graphic novel, though, for the Black Blossom, because it's kind of like her origin story, so we didn't want to get too crazy too quickly. But there is some cool space, alien, cosmic stuff going on here. Nothing that breaks the universe, but it's still cool.
Thought this was interesting. Her mask had a little bit of there's a Power Rangers vibe to it there.
Because I had the idea for her powers and her suit, and then I wanted the Black Blossom name was cool. So her visor is the little touch of her namesake, where it kind of looks like flower petals a little bit. I also I made her super short, so she's like 5 foot nothing, which is fun.
Shorty.
Which is fun when she's fighting other people, because it's just a fun size comparison. I like characters that seem super scrawny or small, but they pack a giant punch. I think that's a cool dichotomy to explore in storytelling. And she's also very inexperienced. She's experienced enough to know how to fight crime, but not experienced enough in the world of superheroes and all the stuff that can come with that. And so this is kind of her first outing where she learns a lot of things.
Now, you were saying you were on Nerd Bacon earlier this week.
Yep.
Yesterday. Right?
I think so.
Yeah, I try to. My days just run. They run together. I have no idea where I'm at. I don't even know what year it is. You were saying that this character was based off of your wife?
Yep. Well, and she gave me the idea for it in the first place, and then I wanted to base a lot of things about my wife put a lot of those things in the character. So, for instance, her heritage, which is Pacific Islander, her fear of reptiles, which is one of the humorous things about the Black Blossom, and because she can fight any sort of giant, dark side level bad guy, but if a gecko accidentally scurries out in front of her, she'll freak out and fly away as fast as she can at the speed of sound. And
she could not live in Florida.
no. Well, my wife's from Hawaii, and that's where she got the fear of lizards, because there's tons out there, and they used to hide in her mailbox. And when she went and got the mail, they would jump out and freak her out.
It's almost like they knew that she was afraid.
Yeah. So, and also my wife is very short. She's very tough. She's funny too. So, and all that goes into this character. Even though the funny that the Black Blossom brings is like I said, a lot more Spider-Man, a lot more quippy. So it's an exaggeration on my wife's own character. And then I put a lot of my own personality in here too. I always try to write stuff that I would want to read as a consumer.
If you could keep an eye on the chat.
Okay, yeah.
And see if they have any questions for you.
Now, I don't have the power to put the comments.
No need to do all that.
All right. So, just a bunch of guys from Starcross Comics. My fellow creators are here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Comics.
Awesome. They're saying you make drawing look very easy. I agree. Joe says Luke is a man out of time.
Out of time?
Yep. I like Captain America.
Oh.
No questions so far.
No questions. Well, they all know you. Why would they have questions?
Yeah,
for you. They wouldn't have any questions for you.
Speaking of other Starcross comics, there is a book that we're putting out called Biblical Proportions, which is kind of our universe's version of Crisis on Infinite Earths or something like that, or Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And she will appear in that in issue 2.
I think I have a character in
you do
that book.
Your stuff's in issue 1 for sure, and I'm pretty sure it carries over through all the other issues. I had the pleasure of writing that series as well, so very fun. I love writing and playing with other people's characters.
I've heard that about you.
Have you?
I'm joking. Just being silly.
Yeah, man, I've loved comics since I was a little kid and always wanted to. I was always making comics as a kid anyway. Not very good ones, but still. And now by the grace of God, I'm a professional writer, and I get to write a lot of comics.
Isn't that great that we get to play with comics all day?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? I make funny books. Okay.
Looking great.
Tighten that up just a little bit more.
Now, how she flies is from her suit basically creates energy jetpacks on her back. It's a combo of Venom and Iron Man, basically. Okay. It's this liquid metal suit that encompasses her and then responds to her mental commands and creates weapons and can create guns and all sorts of things like that. Another big inspiration for me is Alita Battle Angel.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, love that series, love that movie. And again, it's she's a very small, petite little lady, Alita Battle Angel, but
yep.
She's kicking everybody's butt really hard. And I just like that visual. Looking sweet.
Probably gonna hear Layla. Well, Layla and Chloe. My daughter bought a Pomeranian,
Oh, nice.
and she loves to come in here while I'm working and bug me.
Nice.
Yep. So we have a lot of fun trying to keep her off of my lap. Because not only does she want to be on my lap, she wants my hands to be petting her.
Ah.
Yeah, she requires constant attention.
Seen any good shows lately?
No.
No?
No, there's no good shows out there anymore.
There's no good shows at all.
Well, I take that back. I did watch the Jedi story, A Jedi's Tale,
Uh-huh.
on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
The animation is not good. It's seems very amateur. The texturing is fine. The problem is the rigging. I don't know if that makes sense, if I'm saying the words right.
No, I think you're saying it right. I just disagree. I think it's the same quality as the Clone Wars quality, which is awesome.
I expect more from Disney. Yeah, but the story was really good.
Yeah, very cool. I liked exploring Count Dooku's fall from grace.
Yeah, that
Very
made a lot of
interesting.
sense.
Yeah.
Kind of his whole thing.
Have you watched The Bad Batch at all?
No, but I think I will now after seeing that.
It's fantastic. And you're killing it. I think I told you I drew the first issue of Black Blossom and then I had
Yeah.
somebody redraw it because my art is not up to my own standards.
That's how I feel about my coloring. I don't like my own coloring.
Yeah, my
So I
art's
tend to just-
super great.
I tend to just not do it then. Well, I don't want to charge someone for anything that I wouldn't pay for.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes when my artists give me back stuff and it's like a tiny tweak that I need, I'll just do it myself instead of having them go back and try and fix it. Don't want to waste their time if I can take care of it.
So, what do you think about this whole AI art issue?
Oh, interesting that you should mention that because I've done a lot of AI art for Black Blossom.
Get out of here.
I have on my Instagram account, which is instagram.com/blackblossomcomic. I think I've got the last 3 or 4 posts have been art from the AI generator. Let me see here. Yeah, the besides the most recent 2, like the last previous 4 are AI generated art, and I don't know how I feel about it because it's super cool and it's super convenient for somebody who cannot draw. But as far as comic books go, I don't see it being much of a threat at all to using human artists for comic books, because even if I think it could be good for cover generation, which is basically what I'm using it for, but it can't maintain the same likeness for sequential art each time. It's impossible. It will not do it, especially if you have a very specific design for your character. And like if you go on my Instagram and you look at it, you see the ones that I've created there. Each one of those AI pieces are they're created from several generated images from the AI that I had to chop up and stick together to even make the image look good. So, yeah. Why? What are your thoughts on it, Luke?
I think it's a useful tool for, like, I do a lot of design for people, and I find it to be useful for that. When I'm, not to present as work, but if I'm just looking for another option for a design element that maybe I'm missing, I can pop in a couple of prompts and just see what the computer comes up with. And then, if it comes up with something decent, then
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I can incorporate it. But
it just takes a lot of trial and error.
it really does.
Yeah, like I'll have to click the button or whatever and change the prompt 50 times before I get an image that I like, or half an image that I like that I have to chop up.
Yeah.
Ray Haylock says that AI cannot beat the human imagination, and I agree.
Yeah. I mean, because really, it's taken all of its input from human beings.
Yep. I will say, though, it's very helpful if I'm looking for concept art or illustrations for something that I'm, like a novel I'm writing or something, just to put like at the beginning of a chapter or something.
Yeah.
Very helpful. It saves a lot of money.
Are you giving the AI credit for it?
Yeah, most of the time. If it's something where I've used the AI just to generate a bunch of pieces and then chopped it up, and it's more my work than it is the AI's work, then not necessarily, but typically I'll put in the AI hashtag. What I found it really helps with is just the realistic coloring and texture that I am unable to bring to my own art most of the time. He said, Ray Haylock also says it's probably a good option for creating something when you're stuck with a blank slate.
Yep. Like I said, that's my main use for it is if I'm, because you really, when you're on a schedule, you can't necessarily wait for inspiration, right? So it's like you just have to work.
Yeah.
And so my thought is, well, let's just see what old Midjourney can come up with. Or maybe, usually, I mean, I don't use a lot of what it comes up with.
Yeah.
But sometimes it'll spark my own imagination.
I heard that somebody recently made a graphic novel of C.S. Lewis's Abolition of Man with AI art.
Well,
I
hope they enjoy hell, I guess.
I feel like something abstract like that is much more well suited for that. But
it might be, yeah.
If you're looking at doing specific characters with specific looks, in sequential, you forget about it. AI cannot do it. Yeah, after the graphic novel comes out, I've got 3 more issues that are already illustrated. They're not colored. I don't have money for that. So I might just release them as black and white for now till I get the color later. But yeah, 3 full illustrated issues are waiting in the wings.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of work to get all this done, doesn't it?
Yep. Patreon has been a huge help. That basically all the art has been funded through Patreon.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I only use Kickstarter when I want to try to print them. So, but if it doesn't work out, I'll just release digitally. What I care most about is getting the story out there.
Yeah, I find that's, most people that are storytellers, that's what they worry about. They're not, worried about necessarily making money on everything they do.
Yep.
It's nice,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't think I've made any profit at all from any of my comics, but it's just it's a passion of mine, and I want to share the stories. And also, a lot of the comics I do are Christian faith based, so that's there's a ministry aspect to it.
Yeah, there certainly is. And, there's a mission field out there. And I'm learning that. I'm really kind of, I haven't been in the pulpit for a little while now, a few months.
Yeah.
But I'm finding that I'm doing a lot of ministry. Even today I just had ministry opportunity. Just kind of pop up out of nowhere.
Awesome.
And, but I'm noticing a lot of it is at the convention hall. Where we're at. So I'm looking at starting a new mission called Nerdword Ministries. It's going to revolve around a website primarily to start with, but it's then going to incorporate people going to conventions and kind of being there for, I don't want to say moral support, because that's not the word I'm looking for. To offer prayer and kind of encouragement and things like that. Doing missions work and ministry work the right way, not going in there, sinner,
Yeah.
all that, but going in there, as Christ would, loving these people, showing them some, that this relationship with Jesus is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let them meet some Christians that aren't, weird.
Yeah.
We're weird, but like weird in a good way.
You can't get around the ideology being quote unquote weird, because it's so different from the rest of the world and even any other religion. Because it's God and he's just different. But I feel like you can definitely avoid being socially weird.
Yeah, and yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And cruel.
Yeah. Yep.
Some people, they decide they want to use scripture as a weapon instead of as what it's intended to. The Holy Spirit is the one that convicts and concerning sin and judgment and righteousness. That's not our job. Our job is just to testify to the truth.
Yep.
And
you love people.
Yeah, we get a lot of believers out there that feel like it's their job to do what the Holy Spirit said he would do.
Okay, we've got Telepathic Bunny Comics, which is a great name. Wants to know who is Black Blossom. And Black Blossom, her secret identity is Michi Hidaka. She is a Pacific Islander female protagonist. She's 5'0". She has a super suit that is a mixture between like Venom and Iron Man. It's liquid metal. It forms around her, allows her to spawn weapons, and she can fight. She's got super strength. She's got supersonic flight. She can create weapons out of her suits, like guns and swords and cool stuff like that. And she's pretty fearless unless there is small reptiles or amphibians involved, in which case she will run and scream.
She's a no-go on that.
Yep. Which is great.
A little bit about her personality. How did she get these powers?
So this is, and I can't say too much about this, but she found them, basically. She found the suit. And how it got to where it did and why it showed up like it did, that is has yet to be revealed. But yeah, she found it, and she'd been she's a nerdy person, big fan of comics and video games already, and so when she found it, she's like, obviously I need to be a superhero now because I have this. And she's just winging it, starting it off and seeing how it goes. And this is kind of like, again, her describing that was her first kind of foray into the deeper world of superheroics, and it's gonna test her limits.
So what makes her worthy to be a superhero? What do you think?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's what makes anybody worthy of being a superhero. I mean, you have Thor, who's like, you literally have to be worthy to be a superhero. But I mean, it's for most people, it's just if you have the power and you have the heart for it, you should do it. And honestly, even if you don't have the heart for it, if you have the ability to do it, you should do it. Which is, with great power comes great responsibility. But
Well, we've heard that a couple times.
yeah, and going back to the faith stuff, there's an immutable law to the universe of what is good and right and what is wrong. And this series actually explores a lot of that, like what makes something right, what makes something wrong, why should we care, who does it apply to, things like that. That's all in this first graphic novel.
Good. Well, I have another question.
Okay.
So this is going to get a little more, I guess, existential. Dang,
Keep
words
that
are-
thought. Keep that thought, because Telepathic Bunny has asked one more question.
Sure.
Which is, this armor sounds familiar to something in my comic. Oh, neat. Does it have an artificial intelligence? Only slightly. It doesn't have a fully formed intelligence, but it has kind of an intuitive intelligence that can read Michi's thoughts and anticipate what she's going to think of and what she's going to need. So it's just as fast as her own thoughts, which is very helpful in battle. And it knows when she's in danger and when she needs protecting. But other than that, it doesn't have a full formed intelligence. Okay, Luke, back to what you were saying.
Okay. So, have you read the book Isom yet?
What is it?
Isom by
Nope.
Eric July.
Nope.
Okay. Well, there's been a lot of reviews and debate that people have had concerning that story about the motivation of the protagonist.
Is it a book or a comic book?
It's a comic book.
Okay, sweet.
And where people are like, he's not the kind of hero that I would, his motivation isn't something that I would want to follow. Like, so, I kind of fall in that camp. I didn't really care for the motivation of the main character. It wasn't something that I thought, well, he's not very heroic, kind of that kind of thing. So, if someone were to, when they really get into this character in this story, how would they, when it comes to the motivation, is this a character that's worth my kids reading about and somebody that I would want them to emulate?
I mean, I think so. Her motivation isn't, spawned by a certain triggering event necessarily, kind of like Batman, where it's, oh, my parents are dead, I shall avenge them. It really is a lot more like Superman, where it's, I have been raised this way, and then I have come into this power, and I can't turn a blind eye to people in trouble when I see them. We actually explore this in the very first issue, or start exploring it anyway. And then we kind of get like, somebody literally asks her, why are you doing this? And she has an answer for that. And then as the story progresses, it kind of goes into, okay, you had that answer for that, but what does that even mean? In a meaningless universe, what does that answer that you gave even mean? Does it matter? Who cares? And that's kind of the rest of the philosophical journey in the first arc here.
Cool. I know it's kind of a weird softball question, but
No, it's good. And I like the question because, again, Superman is my favorite character. And a lot of people don't get him or don't like him. And it's because he just does the right thing because it's the right thing. Like, it's not that complicated.
I actually like characters like that a lot.
Me too, which is why I wrote one like this.
Like, just do the right thing because
Yep.
it's the right thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see a lot of that in the story when you read it.
Cool.
Her dad is a professor of anthropology. So he kind of explores these elements in he's kind of like a Greek chorus through this book, where the things that he's talking about in his class are commenting and reflecting on the, unbeknownst to him, the adventure that Nietzsche's going on.
Where'd you get the name Nietzsche?
That is my wife's middle name. Her and her sisters have Japanese middle names because their grandma was from Japan. And so I kind of like that. And then her last name, Hidaka, it was her grandmother's last name.
So you really don't want people simping after this character, because it's this is like really your wife.
Yeah.
Like, that would be really weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's not really my wife, and it's based heavily on her, but her personality is very different. Her interests are very different. I just drew a lot of inspiration from my wife. Kind of.
Does she read comic books?
My wife?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She reads mine. But
Did you make her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make my wife read mine too.
Yeah.
I make her do all the copy editing.
I don't make her do that, but I tell her, ask her to read it and see if it sounds dumb, or if she finds anything problematic in it.
Yeah, I have so many editors. I do that intentionally because I don't want to suck. So I figure if I have a lot of people looking at it, and if I pay most of them to tell me that I suck, they're going to do it because they don't want me to, because their name's on it too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's not like some people, because you get the friends that are like, hey, you're really good. They'll William Hung you all day long.
If you have you got a screen tablet, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got one of those where it's not a screen tablet. It's one of the things where you got to draw and then look at the screen elsewhere.
Oh yeah, just a regular old graphics tablet.
It does not work for me. I can't.
No.
Yeah.
I did that for a while, and then I figured out how to use my iPad to do comic book art.
Nice.
And then I started with that, and then since then I got a XP pen that I used for a while, and now I've moved up to Ueon. I've used a Wacom, but the Ueon seems to work just as well. I am working to upgrade. I've got a 20-inch, I would like to get the 24-inch screen.
Going back to what you were saying about, I don't want people, fantasizing about this character. One of the things that I did think about was, the skin tight nature of the costume and things. And when I'm drawing it, I'm a lot more sensitive to that sort of thing. Like, oh, am I making this too big, or that sort of thing.
I didn't make the boobs too big.
No, you're fine. No.
I normally do. That's just that's my default.
If I can be blunt here, one of the things that drives me nuts about superhero comics, and this is one of the things I've asked my artists to fix, is that if you read a Catwoman story, the costume is so form-fitting. Like, physics don't work like that. Like, fabric does not wrap around body parts like that.
Yeah.
There's...
I do like to put the wrinkles in.
Yes.
I think that's fun, but
No, that I think that's like I want it to look physically realistic.
My wife has, because I have a character that is loosely based on her in my books. Um, but the character has the ability to turn into a gaseous form, and
Nice.
her clothes follow suit. And she's like, "How does that happen?" I said, "It's a comic book. Stop thinking about it. Because I can't draw her naked."
Yep.
You know?
Which is what would happen in real life.
Yeah.
So same
Real
thing with
life. Yeah.
the Fantastic Four's special costumes that Reed had to make for him.
Yeah.
Now they can conveniently stretch like me,
Dog. Stop it, doggy.
catch on fire.
Yeah. He found, ways to fix the, suits at a molecular level. I'm not even answering that question. I'm like, it's a comic book, people. Just chill out. I mean, if you're that worried about it, read a, I don't know, read a textbook.
She is actually getting a new costume in issue 10. It's not an entirely new costume. It's basically just an upgrade of her current costume. So that's going to be cool to see.
Yeah, you'd sent me the link for that. I didn't. I decided to go with the classic.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't want to. I don't want to spoil the costume reveal.
Yeah, in the
Oops.
whatchamacallit, in the next arc after the graphic novel, so issue 7 and forward, she's going to meet a more classic style superhero and have some interaction with him, and that's going to be fun. For the first 10 issues or so, she's kind of a one-woman show. There's not really other superhero characters that show up to help her out.
And then they start to.
Yeah, then she's going to meet other superhero. I mean, there's super villains and there's monsters and there's government agencies in the first 10 issues, but then there's not really another superhero that comes
There's
along.
always government agencies.
Of course there are.
Those dang government agencies.
But yeah, that is one of the things I struggle with about the characters. I don't want it to just be, hey, look, it's, I don't want to objectify the character, but it's hard to do with, in the superhero genre.
Yeah.
All the super suits are very form-fitting.
Well, it's not done for like what people think it's done for. Like, it was always meant to be just this celebration of kind of the human form of what it could be.
Yeah. Well, and it's just practical. If you're going to go fight, you want to have clothes that are going to hug your body so you don't get snagged on anything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just get sensitive about it when I'm doing the art.
I can understand that. And some people are. I was, for a while, I was like, oh, don't draw it like that. I actually had a friend of mine tell me that God wasn't gonna bless me because I was drawing comic books and that I objectified women. I'm like, you don't really see a lot of my art, do you?
Emilio Cabrera has asked, will there be more heroes to your story as it goes on? Yes, there will. Like I said, there's lots of supporting side characters that aren't superheroes that are fun and great characters, I think. But yes, there will be a couple of more superheroes who show up throughout the story. And then, of course, she does cross over with other books from Starcross Comics. If you've never checked out Starcross Comics, she'll be in the Biblical Proportions epic crossover book. and some of her characters have appeared in other series over there as well. So there's a little bit more than just her own series where she shows up in.
So Trash Man and Starstruck are going to be in a book soon together.
Oh, nice, a crossover.
Mm-hmm. Fun team up.
Yep. Black Blossom's going to be in a team up book as well with 3 other female superhero characters. That'll be fun.
You can hear my dog barking.
There's my other series, Outed, which is kind of it's a mashup of Superman, the Superman family, and the Fantastic Four family. And some of those characters are going to cross over with the Black Blossom eventually. Looking awesome, man.
Thank you. I always hope I do someone's character justice.
Well, I think you got it. A big inspiration from her powers, or for her powers, were from an obscure 90s Superboy villain called the Silver Sword, who had a...
Oh my gosh. That's a throwback.
Yeah. So, but he had a liquid suit, and actually, coincidentally, he's from Hawaii also. I did not get the heritage for the character from him, but from my wife, like I said, but it's an interesting coincidence. But yeah, his powers were kind of similar to this.
Yeah. Yeah, she's coming along all right.
Yeah. In her civilian identity, she practices kendo. So one of her default things that she goes to are samurai swords, katanas, that she creates with the suit.
Oh, that's neat.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you write your fight scenes? Like, do you get really detailed about it for your artist, or do you just kind of Marvel method it?
Sometimes I'll get detailed if I want a certain thing to happen. Like I'll say he throws her through a wall, but I don't describe how or what it looks like, Yeah. Just leave that up to them.
So who is your main artist on this book?
So my main artist currently is Adrian Iglesias. He is a great artist. I'll have to look up his Instagram profile because I don't... It's a different than his actual name. But he took over for Brian Dawson, who was my first artist besides myself on the book. There was one intermediate artist, but he only ended up doing like 2 pages.
Brian and I have a history with each other.
Oh yeah, Brian is a great artist, and he's actually working with me on a full-time comic strip elsewhere in my career. So that's been going really awesome. Let's see. Okay, yes, his Adrian Iglesias profile on Instagram is the Santaplix. TheSantaplix.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No,
that's not one to remember.
But you can see some of his art on there, and it's awesome. One of the things he's got up is a Superman piece. Very cool. I don't know if he has. Yep. Oh, and his most recent one is a video of him inking a page from the Black Blossom.
Nice.
Looks like issue number 9.
See that? She flipped upside down. Flipped upside down for a minute. Let's zoom in on that hand so we don't screw it up. That's one thing that AI can't do right.
No, it cannot do hands whatsoever. The best hands we get from it is when the hands are in the pockets, which is actually a good prompt to remember if you're going to do AI art. Hands in pockets.
Some people struggle with hands. I used to struggle with hands. Sometimes I still do. Like, they're not the best, but I learned to, whatever your weakest thing is, just practice the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. Also, when in doubt, black it out.
Yeah, that's a good strategy too.
Right.
My artistic talent is very fickle.
So she needs to have a. So we're gonna start working with layers. She needs to have some kind of this like jet stuff behind her, right?
Yep.
So
The suit makes like jet vents come out of where her shoulder blades would be. Looks awesome.
Just gonna give myself some.
I think there's a scene in Biblical Proportions where Black Blossom and Trash Man team up for a couple of seconds,
Oh, very cool.
a couple of panels. That's probably not going to be till issue 3 or 4. Currently, we're working on getting issue 2 drawn. Brian did do a page that introduces Black Blossom to the series in Biblical Proportions, and he said he liked that because he got to revisit the character. Brian drew issues 2, 3, and 4 of Black Blossom.
Yeah, Brian does my layouts for hybrids.
Oh, nice.
He's
great at those.
Yeah, anything I write, I like to have someone else contribute so that I'm not the only contributing artist to it.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it adds to the creative process.
Telepathic Bunny Comics asks, when she creates her weapons, does that lower the strength of her armor since you are repurposing mass? And that is a very good question. A little bit. The armor has the ability to build on its own mass when the need arises to an extent. So there was one comic that me and Joe were writing, and he's like, why doesn't the suit just create a building? And I was like, well, no, it can't do that.
That's a little much.
Yeah, so it could probably expand.
But that's Joe for you. That's what I love about Joe. Joe has got. I always loved just imagining worlds with him because he's got this like. But what? Yeah. How about this? Like just these big, grandiose ideas.
Yeah.
And that I've carried that on past Starcross because I'm like, it's like, and I tell other people, it's like, look, it's a comic book. Like, why are you writing this like it's a CW TV show?
So probably the most it could expand is like if she needed to make herself a Hulkbuster suit, that's probably the most mass it could generate by itself without losing its integrity. And if there was ever a way to split pieces of the suit off from the main thing, that would also weaken the integrity. And that is something that might be explored in the future. R.H. Snow says, this is coming together so nicely. I love watching the drawing in real time. I agree it is coming together nicely. And I also agree it's fun to watch drawing in real time.
This is why I like digital.
Yep. Undo.
Yep. It's like we're going to work until we get that line right. I want to do this like odd perspective thing here.
Oh, I love that. One of my favorite artists is Scott McDaniel. Are you familiar with his stuff?
Not really.
He did the first like 50 books on Chuck Dixon's Nightwing run.
Oh, okay.
And man, he is the king of crazy, weird perspectives and just making it awesome. And it's my dream to have him draw a cover for me at some point. But I would need to save up lots of money. In the series Bible for Black Blossom, I think I put in there, anytime you can do a weird, crazy, awesome perspective, do it.
Yeah.
So
I'm
people,
not happy with this building.
people in the comments, if you go look up Scott McDaniel Nightwing covers, you'll just immediately see what I'm talking about. Great stuff. Well, Luke, I'm gonna have to go pretty soon.
All right.
Because my familia is waiting for me.
Oh.
My daughter is very anxious to play some Minecraft with me.
Well, if you give us a minute, we'll have this finished.
All right. And it is freezing cold where I'm at.
How cold is it?
Outside? Oh. Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside?
It's 10 degrees outside.
Oh, heck no.
I'm not outside. I'm inside and I'm feeling it, man. 10 degrees. Good grief.
Heck no, man. I'm Floridian. We don't do that.
Aha, telepathic bunny comics. Probably lots of butt if it's Nightwing. There's certain expectation. I think this was before that. I think this was before the expectation. Where the focus wasn't on the butt 24/7.
Nightwing did have a lot of butt in it, didn't it?
It's the costume, and he's crouching and flipping all the time. He's upside down. It's unavoidable.
Got a little noise in my background there. Hear it? Just doing some. I mean, I'm going nuts here. I'm not even using guidelines. Like, I'm like, sheesh. Look at me like a crazy person.
I like it.
Like, I'm just going straight to inks. Like a madman. Nope. There we go.
I'm going to have to get me a screen tablet because I feel like I could just improve my drawing skill a lot more with an undo button.
Oh, yeah, you can. Oh, the traditional artists are like, well, that's cheating. I'm like, well,
We have the technology.
I'm like, it is what it is. Almost done.
All right. Looking good. And again, if you guys wouldn't mind checking out the Kickstarter,
Yeah, let me throw that link in there again.
the link's also up on the very top of the comments if you
There
want
we
to go
go.
check that out. Thank you.
Let's throw that in there again.
Lots of cool rewards. There's Not only do you get the graphic novel and the annual separately, but you can also get my other comics as digital copies as well. Like I said, there is Outed, which is a combo of the Superman family and the Fantastic Four. So, like, what if Superman and Lois and Jonathan Kent, they all, well, they all had their identities revealed, and then they started living, in this public address. Everybody knows where they are, who they are, just kind of like the Fantastic Four. And then,
If they had a giant 4 on their house?
yeah,
How crazy was that?
I love that. And then the other one is Urg the Battler, which is like a sword and sandal adventure.
Swords and sandals are fun.
Yep. It's got dinosaurs in it. Set against the primordial biblical world before Noah's flood, where there's just like, according to the Bible, there's like 1,000 years of unrecorded history.
Oh, yeah.
So fun era to explore that I don't think gets a lot of attention in historical fiction.
Let's throw a little texture in this thing.
Nice. That's cheating.
Don't care. But then here's what we do.
And if you can't wait for the graphic novel to come out, you can always get the digital copies on starcrosscomics.com. Issues 1 through 6 are up there.
I need to do this. Oh,
Hey, it's us.
I'll fix it. I hit the wrong button on my my silly thing.
I'm glad I wasn't picking my nose.
Well, I'm glad you weren't either. That would have been really embarrassing. I'm glad I had my pants on. Okay, let's try that again. Now we're talking. Let's throw our Blossom back in there.
Telepathic Bunny Comic says, "We are all glad that you had your pants on, Luke."
I'm sure you are. Yeah, I'm not starting an OnlyFans tonight.
And again, if you want to check out Instagram, my Instagram, which is instagram.com/Black Blossom Comic, there's lots of cool other pinups of the Black Blossom, poster images, cover images, little videos by lots of different artists that you can check out. It does look awesome.
Let's make some happy little clouds up here.
Some happy little clouds. You know whose costume I always liked was Donna Troy's costume? Where she had all the stars inside her costume, like the actual stars.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I like stuff like that.
There we go.
All right. Looking fantastic, man.
Here we go. Black Blossom.
All right. Thank you, Luke. It looks amazing.
You are welcome, my friend. I'll send over the TIFF file for you, and you can have it colored by a proper colorist and use it for a print if you want.
Thank you, man. And
Or a cover or whatever you...
yeah, and
Whatever
thank
you
you for
think.
letting me on the show and for highlighting the Kickstarter and the character.
Yeah, everybody check out the Kickstarter. Link is going in again in the comments. I'll make sure it's in the video description, so if you're watching this in playback, yeah. Man, I did that in 1 hour and 10.
That looks fantastic, bro.
Holy crap. I thought it was like 2 hours. Oh well. There we go.
All right.
Hour done. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, not everybody should expect that, by the way. That was just really fast. All right, Evan, thanks so much for being here tonight. And I do hope that this helps the campaign in some way.
Thank you.
That's what we're all about, is trying to help each other out and get ahead. So thanks to everybody for watching. I see we've had quite a few. I think we got a new channel member. Oh my gosh, we did. We got a new channel member while I was drawing. I didn't see it. I apologize. Evan, we do this thing. Whenever we get a new channel member, the bird dances.
Oh, okay.
So here you go.
That is
All
hilarious.
right. Thank you for becoming a channel member. We do appreciate it very, very much. All those funds do help me to continue to do this and build a website. We're building fundmycomic.com so that guys like Evan can do a crowdfunder and save more money.
Woo!
2% platform fee, folks, as opposed to 5%. Complete freedom of expression. So it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. All right, guys, it's been a great day, and it has been a wonderful night. Remember, build up more than you tear down, leave the wood pile higher than you find it, and by all means, please, please be careful out there. I'm not going to play the song, but I am going to give you a word from our sponsors.
You see, your actions have consequences. When you oppress people, they rise up in a fiery anger.